This is the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, your destination for the best in social and political straight talk. And now, here's your host, Miss Tanya Free.
Today is Wednesday, January the 10th. Welcome to the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show. I am Tanya Free, joined by my wonderful friends, former Richmond Councilman Marty Jewell. How are you, friend?
Fine, thank you. Good to be here.
Oh, always good to have you here with us. Dr. Ellison Henderson is with us as well. How are you?
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Doing well, doing well. And also with us is Sherrod Brown. How are you?
Well, how are you? Always good to be here.
Doing good. And a long time no see. Jerome Legis, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. No complaints whatsoever.
Good. Happy New Year to all of you. I didn't see you all last week, so let me say that before we get into the topics and what have you. And also working behind the scenes is Niles Johnson and Noah Johnson and Marcus Evans and Mr. Free. Thank you all for being here, and want to also welcome all of our listening friends from coast to coast for tuning in today. Want you to join the conversation. Phone lines are open, 804-321-1010. Our toll-free number, 844-321-1010. Or you can text us at Tanya Free 63975, or download the TuneIn app by dialing 712-832-2784. Thanks to our friends at AM/FM 247. Well, I may just jump right into it. Let me ask this question first. Who is Michael Wolff? That's his name, Wolff?
Wolff. He's an author.
Okay. Where did he come from, Dr. Henderson?
I think he's out of the Washington Post. I know he's done commentary at the Washington Post, I think.
Okay.
I think he's the one who wrote the book, is it Fire and Fury?
Mm-hmm. Yes, Fire and Fury, right. So how is it we just hearing about him all of a sudden? My understanding, he's been with 45, I think, during the campaign. And how is it that he was able to get up close and personable with 45 to actually write a book of this nature, a tell-all? Marty?
That's the most asked question in America right now. Who would imagine an author being allowed in the West Wing for 9 months? Mm-hmm. And I mean, he's wearing the blue badge, so right. That he's allowed to be there. Whoever thought it?
And he said he has tapes.
He's got tapes.
Yeah, he has tapes that you can record such personal information. He's
holding on for the next moneymaker.
Oh yeah. But I have to say, he is marketing himself to no end. I mean, I have seen him on TV 24/7, almost everybody's show. He's doing a heck of a job with that.
He's red hot papa right now.
Yeah, no question.
But he has been in journalism for a long time. He's written for a number of outlets. He's written several books himself. One having to do with, White Kids is the title of one of his books. I tried to look it up, and I couldn't quite get a sense of what it was about. But nonetheless, he's been around.
The first I've heard of him, Jerome?
It's the first I've heard of him, yeah.
Others in journalism know him well and know him to be a pretty credible writer.
Really?
Sensationalist, but
and that's
credible writer.
And that's what folks are saying. I mean, he's not just some fly-by-night writer. He's been around for a while.
He's seasoned, yeah.
He has some serious credentials behind him.
Yeah.
He's been around for quite a long time, but I think he's been doing this at least 30 or 40 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think he had more access to Omarosa had into the White House.
Now that's going to be really the book. Now she's going to put the icing on the cake when her book comes out. I mean, being that he is marketing himself in this fashion and is giving out such information, can you imagine what her book is going to probably be like?
She's typing right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're going to have that coming real soon. Mm-hmm. Sherrod?
I think he did an interview on, I think it was CBS this morning, whichever show, I think
on The View. He was on The View this morning.
But he was on CBS, the morning show where Gayle King is on.
Okay.
And he did.
Wow.
It was weird because, they gave him really, really tough questions. Mm-hmm. And he, at some point, did admit that he had been in there and he had gathered information that was not necessarily formally for purposes of writing a book.
Okay.
And that was, something that I was kind of taken aback because he's very vague about the information that he, how he answered those questions. And they were pretty tough about it.
Well, I think he was on MSNBC. I think Katie Turk did an interview with him.
He's been on all of them.
Yeah, and like I said, he was on The View this morning. I recorded it this morning. He was on Lawrence O'Donnell, I think,
Last night.
Monday night. Yeah, Monday night. I mean, he has been, making the rounds completely,
He was back on
smart,
Lawrence O'Donnell
which is
last
very
night.
smart.
Well, I think the book came out yesterday. If there wasn't anything credible in the book, Trump would not have had his lawyers send a cease and desist letter. So there must be something, valid about what he's been writing. And the fact that, Bannon gave him the information, and Bannon did not say that he did not say what he said.
Right.
So that says a whole lot. Now, Bannon is out of Breitbart, and so,
exactly.
all the stuff that's come down the hill has been flowing.
That's going to be interesting as to what he does from this point forward. Let me say this. I was looking up some information with regards to the book, and thus far it has sold over 29,000 hard copies the first weekend. Reportedly, ebook has already sold more than 250,000 copies. Audio has exceeded 100,000.
I heard
That's a lot.
He's on.
I think it's going to be a bestseller. I don't care what
it is a
comes up.
bestseller.
Yeah, that's it, hands down.
Yeah.
He's on order from Amazon and Barnes and Noble for over 1 million copies.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Believe it or not,
He's
someone was.
Amazon's #1 bestseller right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I believe it. Mr. Free wanted a copy, and Mr. Free wanted a copy, and
bootleg copy.
yeah. And he went to Amazon, tried to order, and put him on hold for like 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
My sister was able to get it, so it must have come out before yesterday.
It did. It came
Yeah,
out
it did.
last Friday.
Right.
Last weekend.
Okay,
Right,
because she
yeah.
has a copy.
She does? Oh, okay. Give her a call, tell her call.
Either way you cut it, it is the most phenomenal expose of this man and his surroundings that we will ever see again in life. And everybody's saying that very few, if anybody is refuting any particular part, they might argue about its total accuracy, but they're not refuting it.
Right.
Well, the only refute that's taking place is in regards to his mental health. They're not refuting the facts of the book. They're just refuting the facts in regards to him being mentally unstable.
If you watch that round
I
table yesterday,
think they're even dancing around that. I really do. I think they're dancing around that because if they were to really refute it, allow him to take a psychological or mental health test.
They've had enough psychologists and therapists assess him just in his own tweets and his attitudes, demeanor.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly something's
his goose is
right.
already cooked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, he is having a complete fit because he was on this morning saying something to the fact that he wants to change the libel laws as if someone is bringing false facts against you and that sort of thing. And y'all know what that's about. You are supposed to be the president. Why are you even talking about issues of that nature?
He is the biggest purveyor of false facts. And in fact, I'm going to use his language. He is a beautiful liar.
Fake news.
He's an ingeniously beautiful liar. False facts, come on.
Constantly, no question about that.
Which is why that cease and desist order was totally ignored by a publisher who had already checked with the law, and he knew that he couldn't be sued for what was said in that book.
Well, it made him speed the book up, getting the book out even sooner than it was supposed to have been. Yeah, it was supposed to be
They said,
published.
all right, you don't like that?
Right.
I'll do this.
Right, exactly. And like I said, he's been making all the rounds, and it's just been very, very interesting. Well, let's take a listen to an interview he did with Katie Turf with MSNBC. Okay. Well, let me ask this question. Someone said he is credible.
Oh, Wolf is definitely.
Okay.
I mean, he's a seasoned journalist. I mean, he wouldn't have access to the White House if he didn't have some kind of credibility.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like he came from the National Enquirer.
He wouldn't be on all those talk shows.
I don't think he had access to the White House because it was credible. I think it's because 45 had so much ego.
Well, I mean,
And I think that being that he told him that he was writing a book. Hey, that just made no one asked the question that they should have been asking as to what type of book you're writing, what you're going to write about, or asked to see what he was had collected thus far. Everybody, I think, just allow him just to come in like, okay, just run wild. That's what I think it was.
Any dream that Bannon would throw him under the bus?
Right.
this is just me being
conspiracy theorist, I think Donald Trump sanctioned all of this.
You think so, really?
Indeed.
To make money.
Yeah.
To make money. Donald
Y'all
Trump
giving him too much credit.
No, because here's the thing about it. The way I look at Donald Trump is that he knows how to play this reality TV game. And he's doing this so greatly because we spend a whole lot of time talking about him. He keeps us off balance visually, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Donald Trump does everything he can possibly do to keep us off balance as a community, as a country.
That much I agree with you
And
on,
so
but I think this book is not what the reason I say that because I think that he and Bannon, we played that song, by Boys to Men. They come to the end of the road.
Right.
I truly think that they have truly come to the end of the road with regards to each other.
I don't think so. And the reason I'm saying that, I think as far as Steve Bannon is concerned, I think the reason why he left the White House, because he left at the pinnacle of controversy, all right? If he leaves at the pinnacle of controversy and they're like, oh, wow, this was the greatest guy and so forth and so forth. He is the conservative right wing, this, that, and the other, and so forth and so forth. Then he goes back to Breitbart, leaves Breitbart, only to say, well, and this is my conspiracy theory is that he's going to run for office. Steve Bannon is going to run for office.
Oh, say it ain't so.
He's going to run for office.
If he run for office, I'm leaving the country.
Here's where
I'm just leaving the country. No, I don't. No, y'all, you give him too
Here's
much
where
credit.
I'd like to blow a hole in your theory.
Go ahead.
Everybody's losing money on their team. Donald Trump might be sent to the monkey house, the Looney Tune house. Bannon is in free fall. The Mercers have snatched his money.
Right.
His candidates don't want to go near him because
Sirius has kicked him to the curb as well.
Nobody wants to touch him.
Right.
But here's the thing about that, because we in America, we love retribution. We love redemption, and we love
Who
salvation.
you hanging out with?
I am just that guy that got like,
I'll say this.
I think what happened,
I think that's
Bannon did not anticipate that he would be kicked to the curb. I think what happened when Kelly came in office and Tillerson, he had a choice between, 45 had a choice between keeping Bannon helping him to get elected, but when Kelly and Tillerson said, whoa, wait a minute, time out. 45 needs the two of them more than he needs Bannon in order to do
I think the events that took place in
in
Charlottesville was the best thing that could have happened because it exposed Trump and exposed Bannon. So as Bannon leaves, these whole white nationalists have to exit stage left as well. But you kind of want them to still be in the forefront. You kind of want them to be out there doing what they're doing so we all know what he's doing. And I think the fact that Bannon was removed by Breitbart, I don't know if it's a conspiracy theorist, but I do think that Bannon is up to something.
Oh, yeah.
He's got,
he's
I don't think he's a great political
team.
candidate because of his
Right.
style, but I do see him being a consultant and helping other candidates get elected.
Well, I think he will come back with folks like Roy Moore, those kinds of people
Oh,
will
yeah.
be a part of his team,
Yeah.
which is very, very scary.
but here's what you have to look at when you talk about things being scary, okay? You got Corey Stewart running for office, all right, in the state of Virginia, okay, and he was Donald Trump's campaign person for the state of Virginia. You got Joe Arpaio running in Arizona for
Right,
Senate. Okay, so
exactly.
these guys are
And
coming out of the
that's who
woodworks.
Trump
Yeah, so he
exonerated.
pardons this guy, and this guy's like, so when we keep thinking that these guys are going away, they're not going away in any way,
But
shape,
them
form, or
running for
fashion.
office, they have to get elected.
True. But here's
you have to be
yeah,
elected.
and that's like I was always told people when Jesse Jackson ran and so and so ran and Shirley Chisholm ran. It's like, okay, at some point we're going to have a black president. Okay, because what happened?
What are you talking about?
Well, here's what I'm saying. Yeah, but here's what I'm saying. Okay, if you keep running enough, or if we keep running the same people of the same ilk enough, then someone's going to come along and as my audience, because let's say for example I'm running for office. Okay, that I have and I lose. I have a base.
Right.
Okay, someone from that base is going to say, okay, I like what you stood for, but you didn't do it right because you didn't win. So the next person comes along and built that base even greater. And then the next person come along and build that base even greater. Okay, and as they continue to build that base, and someone's going to say, okay, or a group of people are going to say, okay, your base, we make sense now.
But
okay?
their base has shrunk in the last year.
And it's shrunk even more
It's
because
even more.
Bannon and 45 are at odds. Their base are at odds with each other.
And
So this book has helped us in another regard. In that regard.
Well, I still challenge your theory, Doc, because in fact the last fool, total fool that ran president was George Wallace 50 years ago, anywhere close to this fool's ilk.
Well,
now,
you had 17 fools running.
Wait, no, nothing like this. These are classic fools, right? Trump and Bannon, who openly are racist and bigoted. We haven't had anything like that since George Wallace 50 years ago.
Exactly.
And so if you're going to build a base and you're going to take another 50 years to do it, oh, no. There's nothing in the cards.
My question is,
Dr. Henderson?
My question
I
is,
hope I'm wrong. That's what I'm saying. That's my
We're
conspiracy.
not calling out Trump to
yeah.
be racist when he was hanging out with Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Mike Tyson, Don King. So now that he's become president, he's also a racist. But he wasn't racist 20 years ago.
And here's the interesting thing
He
about
was
what
accused
you
of being a racist, you know.
Oh, sure
But
he
he
was.
was.
Sure
But
he
he was.
was.
Yeah, I think it was on the down low. It was on the down
But
low.
the fact of the matter is, none of us came out and called him what he's been saying for all these years. Don King, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, all these individuals who he hung out with, partied with. What'd you say?
Oprah Winfrey.
I didn't want to say that, but thank you.
Yeah.
all of them have been hanging out with him years, just like Oprah Winfrey's been hanging out with Harvey Weinstein. So all of a sudden now it's a hot topic, and we want to accuse him of what he's been saying.
Let's keep this in time perspective.
No,
y'all.
but
Wait a minute,
it's
wait
a
a
fact. I'm
minute.
stating
Well,
fact.
yeah,
That's a fact.
Yeah, but you got your time sequence out of whack.
In regards to
Donald Trump, who called for those boys
Right,
in the Central Park,
right.
He fought
And
Obama
called
and
president
called
that
him.
he
but
wasn't
hold on
a
now.
citizen.
What I stated is that he's been hanging out with Al Sharpton.
That was way
Don
Playing
King,
a game, playing
Jesse
a
Jackson.
game.
Okay, but
Playing a
no one said he was a
Playing a
racist. He
game.
was giving money to those individuals. So my time is not off. My facts are accurate. So if you go back to the 1980s, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean that's true.
But
And none of
he
them
may
were
not have
running
been
for
coming forward, but
president back
from
then.
the heart, he was, because his father had real estate that they would not. They
for
would
a
not.
long
They
time.
would not.
For a long time. I agree with you.
Discrimination
They
cases
would
with
not.
the
They would not
apartment.
rent to
Rentals,
African
yeah.
Americans.
No one came at him, Oprah Winfrey, as you indicated.
Well,
or
they
the
may
others
not have
came at
known.
him.
We didn't know at what
No,
extent.
you know-
No. I mean,
We
really.
knew he
really.
was better.
This was
No,
all
no.
mainly
Same
common
person
to
who-
New
Okay.
York.
Okay.
That's New York politics back then. And New York politics now, because they mix it up even now. While they call each other dirty
and think
names.
about it from this standpoint, he had a different base then. I mean, he's hanging out, like you said, with Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and all that. They weren't hanging out with
see,
him
this is where I go
during the
back-
campaign. Different base altogether.
Yeah.
But this is where I go back to Donald Trump understands reality TV, and I always joke and say it's the Real White House of Washington D.C. Okay, it's just the Real Housewives. You know, people will look at those programs and say, "Oh wow, look how these women are behaving." Women don't behave like that on a regular basis. Okay.
Well, I think Wolf came,
Okay, well,
came
y'all
clear
hold that
in
thought
that
for me. We gotta
book.
take a break. Today's praise break is "He Still Loves Me" by Beyonce and Walter Williams, sponsored by The Choice, 105.3 FM in Richmond.
Took me a while, but I'm finally here. So I just wanna testify, make it crystal clear. See, I've been picked out to be picked on, talked about out my friend's mouth. I've been beat down till he turned my life around. Seems like I always fall short of being worthy. 'Cause I ain't good enough, but he still loves me. I ain't no superstar, the spotlight ain't shining on me. 'Cause I ain't good enough, but he still loves me. That's me.
I used to wake up some days and wish I stayed asleep, 'cause I went to bed on top of the world. Today the world's on top of me. Now everybody's got opinions. They ain't been in my position. That it breaks my heart when I hear what they have to say about me.
What they say about you. I always fall short of being worthy.
Lord, I ain't worthy.
'Cause I ain't good enough, but you still love me. I ain't no superstar, the spotlight ain't shining on me.
I wanna be for you.
'Cause I ain't good enough, but you still love me. I'm not perfect.
Not perfect.
Yes, I do wrong. Yes, I do. I'm trying my best, but it ain't good enough.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is sponsored in part by
Metropolitan Day School, where eagles soar.
This is Tanya Free. Have behavioral issues affected your child's grades? Does it seem like your child's emotional problems are tearing you and your family apart? Calls from the principal, suspensions, detentions? Call my friends over at Metropolitan Day. Get your child's school year and your family back on track. Call Miss Thomas today, 804-321-2595. Metropolitan Day, where eagles soar.
My name is Miera White, and I'm here with the Black History Moment. A daughter of slaves, Ida B. Wells, was born in Holly Springs, Mississippi, July 16, 1862. A journalist, Wells led an anti-lynching crusade in the United States in 1890s and went on to found and become an integral groups in striving for African-American justice. She once refused to give up her rail car seat for a white man in 1884 and bit a conductor on the hand when he tried to force her. She was dragged off the train. She sued the railroad and initially won, but the decision was overturned. Ida B. Wells died in 1931 in Chicago, Illinois.
This is Tanya Free, inviting you to check out the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, your destination for the best in social and political straight talk, here coast to coast on the AM/FM 247 radio network and the AM/FM 247 television network. Join the conversation.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, Wednesdays. Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
Let me say one more thing about this book. I am real concerned about the mental state of 45, and I think we have seen a lot of things that he has done and he has not done that give reason for that. Did you all see him the other night when he was pretending, or I don't know, the national anthem? As much cane as he raised about that, and it looked like he knew the words to it, or what?
But here's the interesting thing about it. Regardless of his mental state, okay, think about it. Ronald Reagan had issues too, mentally. We come to find out later on.
But he wasn't tweeting or doing anything. He had somebody try to keep it intact.
But this just
they can't keep him intact.
But no, I think what happens is you have to look at who are his advisors. We don't know how his advisors are handling things. We truly don't.
You think they have it under control with all that we've seen, all that we are seeing?
He is an out front, in-your-face type individual as far as presidents is concerned. Actually, no, it does not make me nervous, because I'll tell you his thing about it. I'd rather
put call you because you know what? I'd rather put 3 more years with Donald Trump than have Mike Pence in office any day. I I can understand that, but he doesn't make you nervous. Okay, all right.
I mean, because think about his Twitter account is official, and again, we were talking, I guess, during the break about, much of what is publicized, may be deliberate.
And here's another thing too.
To create diversion.
Are
y'all serious?
If you follow Donald Trump on the White House, and you follow, the interesting thing about what I find is interesting is that a lot of stuff that shows up on Twitter, or what the media put out there on Twitter, is the insanity that make you go, oh, I can't believe he said that. Okay, if you kind of like look at the White House website or the White House Facebook page, it's a totally different scenario.
Well,
there.
okay. Aside from that, when I see him on TV, he actually saying stuff. That is not presidential. Okay, all right, okay. Let's talk about when he gave the statement and said that folks, the folks in Charlottesville, the KKK, there were some good people in that group. That was okay with you?
Well, I'm going
there was nothing about the media that was, shopped or made up or
there was one
shock
or two
treatment.
good people on that side, at least one.
But I'm asking a question. That was okay with you, Jerome?
When you say okay with me, let me tell you where I'm coming from with this. Okay, as far as good people, there are people that believe in their cause. There are people that believe in this country as best as they possibly can. And so what I'm saying about that is that there were probably people there that was not up there to say, I'm here to kill, maim, and this, that, and the other, and so forth and so forth. I just want to see this country.
His side. Okay.
Well, but here's the thing about it, too. He also said there were some good people and there were some bad people, okay? And then when you kind of like look at it, if you want to take the Charlottesville Police Department, and when I say that, the people that were in charge of Charlottesville Police Department, did they not pay attention to what was going on? Okay, did they not do their job accordingly? Okay, to say let's separate these guys instead of let them come to head.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So then, and so what I'm saying about that is that you can make a case for there are good people in there, and you can make a case for there are bad people on this side, and you can make a case for there are bad people on this side, and you could make a case for there are good people on this side. The thing is that
if you're going to protest against people, and if it involves violence. Where is the good?
But here's the thing about it. Let me tell you
against the Confederacy.
If I go out to protest and what have you, if I'm saying, okay, I'm here because I believe in the Black Lives Matter movement, but I'm gonna sneak around behind the cops and I'm gonna throw a damn brick through the wall.
No, wait a minute, Doc.
I'm just saying. I'm saying me.
Before you say any more, now I love you so much. Okay. I don't want you to say no more.
that makes me the bad guy.
You don't go to a peaceful demonstration with rifles slung across your back and protective gear from head to toe.
But here's the thing about it. Let me tell you. Well, hold on for a second.
Had weapons.
Yeah, and also too.
They didn't. No. The other side did not go up there with guns and intent to hurt.
Okay. No. Let me give you. Hold on.
Antifa has been violently protesting for.
Let me give you an example. When Trump went into office, okay, people went behind a building in Carver community and had stuff all stacked up, a whole bunch of crap stacked up, bricks and all this type of stuff, that they were going out to protest Trump's presidency, but they were going to throw it on 95. It just so happened that my neighbor called and said, wait a minute, we got an issue here because I see all these kids going back here, all right? And this was supposed to be a peaceful protest that they were going to stop. How do you, and I'm not trying to throw them under the bus, but how do you explain Tim Kaine's kid going up there to raise hell over the Trump presidency? Come on. These are nice people that just go crazy behind the process.
That was Antifa. That was Antifa.
And Antifa is a liberal, violent group that has been perpetrating.
They're anarchists.
That's what they are.
Nobody controls them.
So they're on one side, and you had the alt-right movement on the other side. So they're all violent.
The whole alt-right was violent.
Antifa's been violent for years.
The Ku Klux Klan is a domestic terrorist organization.
I'm not going to argue with that.
Same level with the KKK. No. Question: Are you putting them on the same level with the KKK?
Antifa is a terrorist organization like the KKK, the alt-right movement, all those. I mean, because they're extreme liberalists.
So Black Lives Matter is on the same level with the KKK.
Not Black Lives Matter. I'm saying the people that walk out of Black Lives Matter and decide to.
Black Lives Matter go to Charlottesville to protest the folks that are with the the alt-right movement. You all are putting them on the same level.
We never said Black Lives Matter. But Antifa has infiltrated Black Lives Matter by giving them money. See, that's what's been happening. Antifa was giving Black Lives Black Lives Matter
never
money.
heard that.
Okay.
Me either.
Check out the facts. And the problem we have is oftentimes these liberal white groups come into our community, they distort our message, and they take over, and then we get blamed for it. Because for a long time, people were complaining about Black Lives Matter, but they never mentioned Antifa. But then Antifa started getting all the chaos.
Antifa appropriated the demonstrations that Black Lives Matter was doing.
Appropriate means they funded. They paid for the demonstrations. Who supports Antifa?
Violence.
Who supports Antifa?
And mix them all up.
Who supports it? Oh, so where does the money for Black Lives Matter come from?
Dope on the corner. Who the hell knows?
Well, we need to know.
Anarchists.
We need to know because oftentimes these people are giving money to these organizations to act, and this has been happening in this country for years.
Sure.
Like the government. I mean, this is nothing
left
new.
and right. Sure.
Left and right. So I'm saying that.
And so you have your bad and your good.
On both sides.
On both sides. And here's the thing about
I'm in support of Black Lives Matter.
And the message gets distorted because here's the thing about it. If I'm going up there and I'm just going to say, hey, I'm going to protest, I'm going to march down the street and this, that, and the other, and be nice, peace, love, and harmony. That's not going to sell. You're not going to get a commercial behind that. Your product is not going to get sold that way. But if I go up there and say, oh, yeah, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to pretend that I'm a nice guy, but give me 2 minutes. I'm going to stay out here at night and I'm going to burn this city down.
Do y'all
And
recall
how does he get paid for being affiliated with
when Black
burning the
Lives
city
Matter,
down?
they were supposed to protest?
When I
say that, I'm talking about as far as the media is concerned. You pay attention to the media doesn't show.
You're talking about in support of Black Lives Matter.
Especially when it comes to us. When you see us on TV, as far as the media is concerned, what's happening is this: they're showing us stomping on cars.
White lawyers going there
say that again?
arresting those individuals.
Yeah, exactly. So we're not getting that.
Well, that was an overwhelmingly white demonstration, and it was the white folks that was stomping on cars. It wasn't black folks.
Which one?
But we do it
In
also.
Charlottesville.
We do it also. We do it also. I mean, and so I'm not saying. Well, what I'm saying is that the sad thing about it is that a good march from any side, the bad is going to be publicized. A good march from the bad information that's going to come out of those marches is what people will,
so
is what you're going to see.
So what is the good side of the KKK?
I'm not saying of the KKK.
Well, that's who was marching. The Nazis were marching.
Yeah,
the KKK was marching. The alt-right were marching, who declared their white supremacy.
And Antifa came
that's
out
what I'm trying to understand.
Antifa, forget Antifa right now.
Okay.
But
Antifa came out and opposed them.
Antifa.
So, and that's how the fight started. That's how the ruckus started. Antifa opposed them. They began to fight, and that's how it got started.
Doc,
Sherrod, you can jump in here anytime.
Was I there?
Were you there?
No, sir. Were you there?
No.
Okay, neither was I. But
none of us were there.
I've seen all the videos, and I saw the.
Yeah, but you can't look at a video.
When you see white folks fight, there were white males fighting white males. There were no black males fighting those white boys.
You can't look at TV and know who started that ruckus.
Okay, I'm going to go back to my original question.
Let me say this.
What?
So I'm from Lexington, Virginia.
Right.
So Antifa tried to do the same thing in Lexington, Virginia, where all my firemen friends are. They came up there during the MLK march, and they tried to do the same thing. The only difference was that this time the KKK did not show up, but Antifa was still in Lexington trying to protest. This took place 2 weeks after what took place in Charlottesville.
I ain't mad with Antifa.
We should be
all over the place.
We should be.
Why? You apologizing for white folks being traumatized? That they're not comfortable?
I never said that. I'm saying,
well, why are you so fixed on Antifa being the villain?
Because Antifa, to me, is a terrorist organization who are manipulating our people and trying to start ruckus on our behalf. We don't need their support. We don't need them stand up in support of our cause.
People,
so why are they coming in? Why are if we're Black Lives Matter?
Okay, the question is, why do we allow it if that is the case?
That's all I want to know. Why we're allowing that?
Because we don't know.
People
it's based
in
off
Black
of money.
Lives Matter are more white than black.
Well, I think it is money and ignorance.
Say so, sis.
That's what I think. It's both, and there's always a financial basis, for why people want to advance whatever their cause is, and again, with Trump, let's go back to, and I'm trying to remember your original question
because
he's impulsive. He's impulsive, and and at the same time, yes, he is being advised, and we don't know what to what degree.
Right, especially when you have your attorney general tell the police that they can just push people's head into a panty wagon. They're not being rough and tough enough. How on earth do we support what your president is saying and good people on the other side, and we see what's happening with the
He didn't say good people. He said there were some good people.
Okay. I don't care if it's some, it's still good. That's what he's saying.
He makes them all equivalent
Right,
of
exactly.
terrorists.
You can't, they're not equal.
But
Right.
again,
The fact
he's impulsive. He says, whatever. So there's to
The
some
fact
degree
is,
they
he
allow
encouraged his mob at his
an amount
rallies
Right.
to
of that
beat up black
impulsivity.
folk. He has singled out the brother taking a knee and the whole black NFL who followed him.
Right.
He has singled out point after point after point where black folk and non-whites are concerned.
Well,
And
Marty,
so
I don't
you
disagree.
need a-
I don't disagree with that. I just think that there's a level of that is allowed deliberately.
Well, let me ask Jerome.
What do you mean allowed by who?
Is 45 divisive to you or not?
Who gonna tell?
Yeah, very divisive. Very
Sit
divisive.
here and talk to Jerome.
Yeah,
You bother me.
He's very divisive, and he understands that because
Yes.
here's the thing about it: is when Barack Obama went into office, the Tea Party became boom. Okay, all of a sudden you don't even hear a peep from the Tea Party. You don't see nothing about
Well,
them.
he's the
here's
face of it.
but here's the interesting thing about it. What's so interesting about it is the fact that he understood how to actually get people to draw sides, if you will. I mean, he did everything that he could possibly do.
Steve Bannon helped him.
Steve Bannon did it.
Right. They were the two.
You're giving this boy too much credit, both of them.
Well, here's the thing about it. I'm giving him credit because he's president.
Bannon is from Norfolk. He's a Virginia boy.
Yeah.
He went to Virginia Tech.
So,
Yeah.
well, let me do this. We're going to take a break? Okay. Scotty, hold on. We got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise, listening skies. Let it resound loud as the road sea. All over the world, oh yeah. Free, let it be. All over the world, God of our weary years, God of our silence years, Thou who hast brought us far on our way, Thou who hast by Thy might led us into the light. Keep us forever in the path, we pray. This is our prayer.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is sponsored in part by
Furniture at the Venus. Hi, I'm Chocolate Chip, and your home is the place that says the most about who you are. Furniture at the Venus has a huge selection of styles that make a statement. Visit our showroom at 1420 Hull Street, Suite A, and check out our full line of dining room sets, living rooms, and bedroom sets, and more. Be sure to ask about our weekly Tanya Free and Friends specials on everything in the store, including king and queen mattresses, sets to fit any budget. With new arrivals daily, let Charles and Nancy Shaw show you their complete line of home furnishings and accessories. Give them a call at 804-232-3500. That's 804-232-3500. That's Furniture at the Venus, 1420 Hull Street, in the heart of Southside Richmond.
Hi, I'm RW Groove. My friends call me the Big Groovy from Stone Cold Soul Jams, the hippest trip on the web, hottest thing on the streets, and exclusively RichmondSoulRadio.com. On all new time, 7 to 11 or 8 to noon, depending on when Famous Brown pushes the button. Thank you for being sharp enough to check out the Famous Brown TV show. Now be equally sharp and check out Stone Cold Soul Jams, only on the all-new Richmond Soul Radio.com.
Sponsorship and advertising for the Tanya Free and Friends talk show and the Tanya Free and Friends radio network is provided by Freedom Marketing Incorporated, 844-321-1010, or email us at info@tanyafree.com for more information. This is the Tanya Free and Friends radio network, coast to coast, on air, online, and on point.
Born in the city, Chuck Brown raised me. Beginning wasn't pretty. Some people said I couldn't make it. Bits and pieces, soul searching. Just trying to find a place of my own, somewhere I can call home. Show me love. Started out with nothing, not a dollar in my pocket. Working hard to build something. Ain't gonna let nobody stop it. Still dreaming, still singing. I just want the world to feel my song, my song. Show me love, thanking for the love, love. Thanking for the love of the city. Thanking for the love, love of the city, of the city. Show me love, listen. Cranking in Miami, party in Puerto Rico. From the alley to the valley, even out in Cali, they love the way the beat goes. They love the way the beat goes. The clubs to the streets show love, show love, show me love. Every party in the South, they love to hear the 808 score. And when we drop it in the pocket, they love the way the bass goes. And when I'm home in the city, the whole DC, they show love.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
Okay. All right, well, put your headphones on. We'll be back on the end there. Let me go straight to the phones to Scotty. Hey, friend, how are you? Scotty, you still there? Hello? Scotty, give us a call back. Some kind of way we've lost you. Go ahead, Marty. You had a point?
I'm saying, you say nothing has happened as a result of Obama being in office and his justice. And his Justice Department.
We're talking about things that we would like to have seen happen.
And his Justice Department not making improvements in the dispensation of justice. There have been consent decrees laid on these police departments all over the country. And as we speak, this 45 is relieving them of those consent decrees. His Justice Department under Sessions
they've undone. You're right.
is undoing them every day.
True.
And so the consent decrees are serious business. And they have requisite kinds of behaviors to be followed, or you move over into a criminal section and not a civil section to correct your problem and behavior. So there's serious applications that he put in place, and they're being undone.
We didn't
He
say
couldn't pass any laws.
Well,
he couldn't pass any laws.
Not after.
Well, he passed the health care laws. He did pass something.
Yeah, he's done a lot. We're talking about the things we would have liked to seen him do. So let's
I want us to put our credentials on the table.
You put yours on the table first. You put yours on the table, and I put
I'm
mine
a
on the
yellow
table.
dog Democrat and
I am not a yellow dog Democrat.
I've gotten past that, Marty. I am more so questioning everything that everybody does.
I'm going to throw a dart at the Democrats. I'm going to throw a spear at the Republicans. Because like Malcolm X said, one's a wolf and one is a fox, and they both will eat you.
I'm with you, Dr. Henderson.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah, because we keep electing
in Democratic cities, we have high crime in Democratic cities. We got poor schools in Democratic cities. When are we going to address that? We got teenage pregnancy in Baltimore right now. These kids are going to schools
and they're cold
with no heat. No one is saying anything about that. In Chicago, the crime rate in Chicago, our kids are being killed. No one is saying anything about that.
Well, right here in Richmond, the fact of the matter is,
I didn't want to come to Richmond yet. I'm going around. I'm saying as Democrats, y'all should need to. Y'all need to take some blame for what's been taking place in this country, because so many Democrats have been selling our people down the river, taking our votes and not producing anything. Well, so I'm great that you're a yellow dog. I'm a Black Panther independent, and I'm tired of Democrats pretending that they are on our side when they're really not on our side.
Ain't no Black Panther, brother.
And neither are you, and they're no better than
GOP. To be. Here's the real deal.
I want y'all to get the blows.
No, here's the real deal.
Neither are you.
I agree with you that Democrats have not produced anywhere near what we want them to produce.
And why is that?
Wait, I'm going to tell you. The fact of the matter is, however, violent crime, poor performance in schools, poor medical conditions, every bad index you can imagine, we at the bottom. Now, it all primarily emanates from low-income communities. And this government, the Republicans have refused to even consider a jobs program or a job training program.
Changed.
Huh?
Let's not blame Republicans.
What
about the program that's been in place under Democratic governments?
They were killed years ago, and they're trying to ramp them back
Clinton?
up.
What about under Obama?
Under Obama, they were trying to put in job training programs to help get our people out of poverty.
Okay, well, let me do this. Let me go to the phones. Hey, Scotty, how are you, friend?
Hi, are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Good afternoon to your panel. Tanya, I was calling in to respond to the right-wing viewpoint. I've actually had opportunities to enter.
Can you all hear me? I can't hear.
Audio problem.
Scotty, we're having a problem with you once again. Hold on a second.
Why do we pretend like just because a group is speaking of black issues, like a Black Lives Matter, like all black people are bought into that group? I have issue with their leaders. I agree or have.
Scotty, can you call us back, because we can hear you like every other word. Scotty, give us a call back because we cannot hear you.
I think he said he would.
Yeah, okay.
The problem, we think that we're monolithic. As African Americans, we're not monolithic. And we don't all have to share the same views. And we have to learn to respect each other's views and not think because you look like me, I gotta act like you and behave like you. That theory is gone. That's old.
Well, let me offer this. I've been saying for the last 10 years, the Richmond Crusade for Voters ain't crusading. The NAACP ain't CPing. And the Urban League ain't been leaguing. And although I'm seeing some turnaround, the Urban League, whose mission is to lift up the economic lifeblood in the black community, is out of business in Richmond. You call them up and you get somebody down in Norfolk. And so
they spent the money on partying.
Economics is the most neglected dimension of black life. But all of these organizations are no better than the people who people it. And I haven't seen you at any of them. I'm a member of all three.
No, and I haven't been.
Oh, well, there you go.
Because to be honest, the last time I was at a meeting, you and I had a conversation like we're having right now. Because you, Marsh, Lambert, all the rest of y'all, I've gone toe-to-toe with. I've been in this country. I've been in this city since 1996.
I've gone toe-to-toe with them.
Well, and my point is, y'all don't want any young blood. Y'all see, all the older heads want the old blood. Y'all don't want no young blood coming through there.
And that does make a difference. And let me say that's what we need. We need young folks as well.
I have no a grievance.
You got grievance.
Because I don't need to be a part of those organizations nor to impact my community. There's many people not a part of the organization who are doing great work in the community.
Well, tell me what you're doing and I'll join you.
Well, right now, I pastor a church.
Praise the Lord.
Okay.
I'm done.
And I also have a nonprofit. Okay, 2 nonprofits.
I'll join you. Tell me what you're doing.
And matter of fact, Marty, years ago, when you was in counseling, you came to one of my events over there at Blair Street. Back in when what's the guy? Gray was running for mayor. You brought him out, and you brought him out to our community event, and people wanted to talk to you. Gray gave a little speech. He gave a speech, and then he left. You stayed around, hung out, and you and I talked, but Gray was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, and he lost.
Okay, so my issue is, again, people are using our community, and Democrats have been notorious for doing it. I'm not saying you.
And I agree with you 100%.
And I agree with you 100% too.
That's what we have.
But here's the interesting thing about it. Not only are the Democrats using our community, but what makes it even more so interesting is that we're actually making a shift into the Republican Party for the exact same reason. The exact same thing is going to happen because what's happening is that we're looking for people to actually politically lead us into some sort of
leading ourselves.
Exactly.
Well,
So, and what I tell people all the time is like, you don't have to worry about. See, when I'm hearing people talking about, oh yeah, the president this and the president that and this, that, the other, and so forth and so forth. Great, that's on a national level. What are you doing locally?
Let's talk about local.
Okay.
Because it's important for you to know, and if you've been involved, you might know, that Richmond's been run by corporate as long as Richmond's been Richmond. Now,
corporate is running nationally.
Yes, and
my
point is
that's American politics.
My point is, overwhelmingly, blacks have led city government since 1977, 40 years. And we are no better off today than we were back then in too many ways.
How come?
And it's because corporate determines how we spend our
some
economic
of those leaders
development.
have sold out to corporate.
Well, corporate tells us how we are to spend our economic development juice money. Corporate determines what our priorities are in so many ways. You look at this referendum we just had to modernize our schools. 85% of the people said yes. Every time that issue comes up in the Time Dispatch on day 1, day 2, they're talking about Tom Farrell with Dominion building a $130 million Coliseum. They are competing for city dollars.
Can we speak on that for a second? I'll never forget when the Redskin Park came through, how they took money out of the education budget. Douglas Wilder took $5 million and gave to the Washington Redskins,
No, he didn't. No, that was Dwight Jones.
Okay, Dwight Jones. Okay, and it was supposed to go to John Marshall and all the other high schools, which they never got.
Yeah. Well, they got some of it, but nowhere near what we gave them.
Let's take it on a national level. This is what happens.
Because we truly don't care about education.
We don't, not at all.
We truly don't care about it.
The Democrats care about preschool, but they don't care about elementary school and middle school and high school.
Right. And the thing is that you get through, once you're through, if you make it to college, great. If you make it to college. And if you graduate from college, even better.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why do you say we do not care about education?
Because if we cared about education, then we would have a better stocked staff PTA. We would have cross PTA participation because if my kids go to Carver Elementary School and I know my kid is going to go to Albert Hill Middle School, then I would participate in both of those PTAs. Mm-hmm. You could say, okay, I know what Carver Elementary School looks like, okay? I'm going to make sure that my kid get the exact same kind of uplifting experience in the middle school. I'm going to make sure my kid get the exact same kind of uplifting experience in the high school, although my kid may be in the elementary school.
I was a teacher in Shannon Middle School, and I taught your grandchildren, your boys.
Yeah.
See, in Shannon Middle School, when you
over there with Fat Daddy.
Yes, indeed. See, when you're a teacher and you don't have basic supplies like books, like paper, and I got to dig into I was making $33,000 a year to be a teacher. I had 2 master's degrees, but I got to dig into my personal money to take care of my kids, to bring pencils and supplies to school. That's unfair to me.
Yeah.
Right. And to the children as
well. And you make a good point.
Right.
You make a good point.
But it should be the parents.
No, it shouldn't be the parent. No.
Not the paper.
It should be the community. It should be the community's. It should be the community's responsibility.
Right, not books.
It should be the community's responsibility because when you say the parents, because all too often, like.
It should be both.
Right, because here's the thing about it. You have millennials living in the neighborhood.
Because if the parents can't afford it, then yes, the community come together and the church
And the church.
Every
We don't want to talk
aspect.
about the church.
Oh,
But look,
the church.
hold that thought, y'all. We got to go to our
Online
Black Talk
Radio.
commentary. Our friend Scotty Reed. Take a listen.
Black Talk Radio Network.
The spirits of the church. The church is at fault. Oh,
You
yeah.
front center.
We can do it.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is a presentation of Freedom Marketing Incorporated. All rights reserved. Views and comments expressed are not necessarily the views of the host and or this station.
Federal judges said Tuesday that the state of North Carolina will have to redraw its 13 congressional districts and do it quickly because the map is unconstitutionally partisan and drawn to ensure Republicans a disproportionate amount of federal representation. North Carolina has the 10th largest federal delegation with 13 seats in Congress. Only 3 of those seats are held by Democrats, with the remaining 10 districts partisanly drawn to put Republicans in office. Republicans control both houses in the state legislature, and the state recently elected a Democrat as governor. The 3-judge federal panel rejected the previous map drawn by the Republican-controlled General Assembly, saying it violates the Equal Protection Clause, the First Amendment, and Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution. With 2018 midterm elections upon the nation, the judges gave the state 3 weeks to file a new map with the court, so it will be in place before voters go to the polls. The opinion is said to be the first federal court ruling to strike down a congressional map as representing a partisan gerrymander. Dallas Woodhouse, executive director of the North Carolina GOP, attacked one of the 3 judges, an appointee of President Barack Obama, and took to social media to proclaim a hostile takeover of the North Carolina General Assembly and legislative bodies across the U.S. However, Woodhouse and other members of the GOP have remained silent as the U.S. Attorney General proclaims a renewed war on weed, despite state legislative bodies legalizing the plant's use. 2018 is shaping up to be a pivotal year in voting for a variety of reasons, both nationally and the states. This has been Scotty Reed of BTR News reporting. Support independent media today by giving a tax-deductible donation to the Black Talk Media Project, which has been providing public digital media since 2008.
Have you checked out Tanya Free TV on Ustream? Watch our radio broadcast live and catch up on past video podcasts. Download the app or go to ustream.tv to follow Tanya Free and Friends. Stay in touch with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or text the word Tanya to 63975. Join the conversation. Tanya Free and Friends, on air, online, on point. The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is sponsored in part by
The Exclusive Blacklist,
This is Benita of the Vine Wine Club inviting you to attend the 4th annual exclusive Blacklist Weekend. Join us in downtown Richmond, Virginia as we celebrate African Americans in wine with the gala, a wine pair brunch, the Behind the Business East Conference, and jazz by the legendary Marcus Johnson and James Saxmo Gates. February 9th and 10th, join us for wine tasting, delicious food, and an exclusive experience. For more information, call 804-993-4130 or visit our events page at thevinewineclub.com.
I need a doctor, said the boy to the man, to mend my soul and ease my woes and give my life a plan. Well, hold on, son, said the man with the grin. Just be a man and have no plan and let your life begin. Play what you want to play, say what you want to say, be who you want to be, gotta try to find your own way. Play what you want to play, say what you want to say, be who you want to be, everything is right when you do your thing. Everybody get some time to live, but it ain't long, so break out strong and find something to give. Well, close your eyes and listen to the sun, and do not know what you've been told, and just do what you want. Play what you want to play, say what you want to say, be who you want to be, gotta try to find your own way. Play what you want to play, say what you want to say, be who you want to be, everything's right when you do your thing. Find your fire, follow your stars, know that they're never too far.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
Let me read. Okay, get your headphones on. Let me read this comment. Jeff says blacks need to start an independent political party.
Amen.
I agree with that.
But if we do,
I agree with that. That way, I think the Democrats would take us more seriously, and hopefully would do something for us, opposed to just every 4 years or every 2 years collecting our vote, and we don't see them anymore or haven't seen any evidence.
But that's because we don't follow our vote.
You're right. I agree with that.
We don't. What happens is that
and we have other people that come, other black folks come and get our vote, and then they go about their business.
We don't realize that voting is nothing more than a tick mark. I want to put you in office. I'm not going to hold you responsible for what. Someone said to me, they said, you've actually elected an official when you call and they pick up your phone call. They take your phone call.
Right.
That's when you know.
And you work on a lot of political.
But we're not doing that. We don't do that as voting people. We don't do that. We just want to say.
You know why?
And we don't demand.
We're too busy trying to survive from day to day.
That's right.
We're trying to survive from day to day.
That's right.
And I think part of that survival needs to be to make that phone call.
I agree with
part of that
that.
survival needs to be to actually get out there and say, okay, I'm going to knock on your door and tell you why I'm voting for this person. That's got to be part of that survival.
Yeah. Because that's a plan. That is also by design to keep us tied up so that we do not know what's going on or what the person we voted for or what our vote is actually doing. We got to rise above all that. And I say that from the standpoint, look at our ancestors. I mean, they worked the cotton fields and everything, but they figured out a way to come together to pull us as to where we are now.
When all of us
without internet and social media, though.
Differentiated, and our black middle class is our black intelligentsia that's left us, and what you're talking about is what's left. And so let's at least take into account that you're giving some pretty middle class perspectives on some very poor people, and to expect that they can do what you think they ought to do.
They're very resourcul.
Yes, but it all requires leadership. Even if they're leading themselves.
We agree with that.
But the whole piece about Martin King's edict that we're to be judged by the content of our character, and not the color of our skin. Well, today, 40 years later, all that's changed, and we judge each other by what you got and what you don't got. And so that whole idea is out the window with Martin. And if you don't got, you don't get. Because I ain't helping you because I'm trying to get myself.
Exactly. Reality TV, the images and all of that.
Exactly.
That, you know,
Very
that's
much
out
so.
there.
Yeah.
You know.
But the churches are culpable with that as well.
Big time. Big time.
Sure.
The churches in the prosperity movement and and bringing all this money in churches and building these huge edifices and not schools. I mean, the church has got to be held accountable as well.
Yeah,
You bus people
absolutely.
in from these lower economic communities, but then that message is delivered to them. But are you teaching them how are they to achieve that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is not
Because I
happening.
always
either.
wonder why these African American churches, every African American church have a school attached to it, because you can tell where the resources when the sanctuary is bigger than the school, that's a problem. So why are we not having schools in our churches? And why are we not going in our community and establishing businesses, the urban leagues or whatever? I mean,
Right.
all this money is coming to the African American church.
And credit unions.
And credit
And
unions.
let me say this. Let me
Not
say this.
ATM machines.
Exactly.
Church is a prime example of that. How many churches are in the area? And how is it now the area is being transformed, but not by us or by our churches? How is that?
Well, because we've
It was landlocked. Urban with the bigger spaces.
Well, urban
because
flight.
people with resources have moved out of the
Yes,
neighborhood.
exactly. Urban
And took
flight.
But you mean to
and took
tell
their
me
money
the
and
churches
brains with
couldn't
them.
come together and transform that?
Listen. Let
That was
me-
what the
let me
Baptist
answer that.
General Convention was trying to do that years ago, and they failed
Yeah, can
because
I-
egos got involved.
can I offer
Once my
this?
ego get involved, I cannot, partner with the church down the street.
Can I
because, hey,
offer this? And you can sue me for it. Present company accepted, because I've seen what you did over at that church. Black preachers are the worst business people that ever set foot on the planet.
Not all black.
Yes,
No, I can't go with that. Marty, I can't go with that. No, they're not. No, Marty, no.
All right.
Marty.
You know I'm being crazy.
Okay, you need to apologize
Indeed,
to
I ain't
indeed.
apologizing
the
because
preachers
it's
that
too
are
close to being
effective, that
absolute.
are doing
The
something.
fact of the matter is, they need a church on there.
This is a Christian station, so
if
no.
they
Let's
need
be
a
truthful.
chur- a
Let's be
roof,
truthful.
if they
Not
need-
all.
If they need a roof on their building, they will go to a white bank versus a black bank and borrow $25,000.
Because some
Wait a minute, wait.
There's only one black bank here.
But let's
That's
forget
not even
that.
black
Let's
bank
forget
anymore.
that. Let's forget that right now. I've seen it happen. They'll borrow the money from the white bank because they can. They'll come back with the money and they got 3 roofers in the congregation. They'll hire a white firm to put a new roof on the building and then wonder why the plate is short.
Well, that goes back to what we were discussing earlier about that conditioning.
Right.
It's a fundamental issue.
I'm saying we expect preachers to be different.
I think that I think we've gotten away from common sense and how things used to be handled back in the day when you had churches and everybody in the community pulling together, opposed to you having one person leading and calling the shots and actually making sure their pockets are filled. Not all, but
we
some.
operated on mother wit.
Or you have a certain group of folks that are running things. You know what I'm saying? White ice is colder than black ice. Okay, that's what and you have some folks that believe that, and that is not true by absolutely no way, means, shape, form, or fashion.
Sure.
But we have to get back to common sense and stop allowing folks to program us by. You talk about the shows we were talking about, the housewives or whatever that foolishness, the reality, and all that kind of stuff.
Can I say to John, black ice is much colder. You haven't been outside here in the last week, so that's not true.
And black ice, it's been a little slippery.
It's very slippery and very cold.
But let me ask this question, and I want to get to this. Talk about Oprah Winfrey. She was on the Golden Globes Award the other night. She got the Cecil B. McMill Award, which is an award for outstanding contributions to the world of entertainment. And she did her speech was good. Take a listen to the first few minutes of it. You want to have it? you want me to come back to it?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Reese. In 1964, I was a little girl sitting on the linoleum floor of my mother's house in Milwaukee, watching Anne Bancroft present the Oscar for Best Actor at the 36th Academy Awards. She opened the envelope and said 5 words that literally made history. The winner is Sidney Poitier. Up to the stage came the most elegant man I had ever seen. I remember his tie was white, and of course his skin was black, and I'd never seen a black man being celebrated like that. And I have tried many times to explain what a moment like that means to a little girl, a kid watching from the cheap seats as my mom came through the door, bone-tired from cleaning other people's houses. But all I can do is quote and say that the explanation in Sidney's performance in Lilies of the Field, amen, 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 amen. In 1982, Sidney received the Cecil B. DeMille Award right here at the Golden Globes, and it is not lost on me that at this moment, there are some little girls watching as I become the first black woman to be given the same award. Because we all know that the press is under siege these days, but we also know that it is the insatiable dedication to uncovering the absolute truth that keeps us from turning a blind eye to corruption and to injustice. To tyrants and victims and secrets and lies. I want to say that I value the press more than ever before as we try to navigate these complicated times, which brings me to this. What I know for sure is that speaking your truth is the most powerful tool we all have.
Well, that's just part of what Oprah was saying the other night at the Golden Globe Award. Before we go to the next part, after we go to the break, let me say this, something she mentioned with regards to Sidney Poitier, how she was impressed by him wearing a white shirt and a black tie. And during the break...
White tie.
Yeah, white tie.
White tie.
Okay.
She referred to white tie and black skin.
Okay, I thought she said the other way. Okay, but anyway...
Man's man.
Yeah, very much so. I love Sidney Poitier. What was the movie? Lily of the Valley, Lily of the Fields. Yeah, Lily of the Fields. And one of the things I wanted to mention was that I was impressed by how all the women, everybody was so elegant. You know, the women, they were sexy, but they were classy. They didn't look, slutty.
It wasn't a rap show.
Right, it wasn't. Yeah, but the thing is, everybody was elegant.
Yeah,
but the men, the women, everybody. Like I said, I was just so impressed that you could still be sexy. Kerry Washington and Oprah and Viola Davis. I mean, they looked so elegant and just classy, but didn't look slutty.
See, I love the fact that Viola had her hair out.
Oh yeah, she had that bush. Yeah,
it was lovely.
Gorgeous. Oh. It was gorgeous. But like I said, they didn't look slutty, and that's, I think, young women today need to
those images.
Respect themselves. You can be sexy and be elegant and even casual, but still not look.
You don't have to show everything to everybody. There's nothing left to the imagination.
Exactly.
Just to feel validated.
Right.
Because you think about, the source of where that validation is coming from.
But it's conditioning again.
It is conditioning.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, the number one female artist in the world is Beyonce. But look how she shows up.
No, I read this quote.
Put it in context. It's one thing when you were at a concert, and you hanging out at a concert of that nature. But that doesn't mean you go to church dressed like that.
But here's the thing about it.
Or you show up at work like that. That's my thing.
Well, here's a classic example. Watch BET back in the day when it was Video Soul and all of that. Look at the treatment of women on those programs, on all of the videos. At some point, the women didn't even have heads on them. The heads was cropped out some of the videos, and you would see them just gyrating. TNA. And so what was that telling our young women, and what was that telling our young men? Okay, so it's like, okay, in order to be successful, you got to have people that you do not respect, especially women. Okay, in order to be respectful, you cannot respect these fellow guys that are that you see as your competition.
And I think we've been targeted by design with regards to that,
sure.
so that we do not respect ourselves because we feel that's acceptable.
You remove the father and the man out of the house, then because typically most men, I'm not going to let my daughters live out of the house, dress a certain way. And so when you remove the father out of the home, there's more latitude because the father's not present. And so I think there's been a systematic approach to remove the father out of the home. And I think, I love what Oprah said, and I love the movement that MeToo was doing, but I also like to speak on there's been several instances in which women in authority, women in power, have taken advantage of men. Maybe not in comparison to numbers, but this whole,
Elaborate on that. What do you mean?
Well, there have been situations in which women who are in authority have made advances on men.
Sexual advances.
Sexual advances on men. And so the fact
happens to me all the time.
I'm sure, no doubt. But my issue is, that oftentimes men are the one who are getting accused as though they're the only ones who's been doing it. This is what's been taking place.
Wait a minute, you go in a totally different direction.
All I'm saying is that women have abused men, whether it's sexual abuse as children, whether it's adults, women in power. This has been happening in Hollywood, in Richmond, all over the place.
Well, how many women do we have that are actually in authority?
Enough.
I'm not saying that women are not being taken advantage of. All I'm saying is that power
But it does not
corrupts.
stop you all from...
Well, let me tell you something.
Not at the same level. Not at the same level that you all are talking about with women. I can't go with y'all on that.
Okay, I tell you what, y'all... Wrong has to be wrong. We have to stop putting levels on terms of wrong.
Wait a minute, Dr. Sid. Wait. Okay, we're gonna talk about when we come back from break. Today's Jazz Break is Soul Serenade by David Sanborn, sponsored by the Metropolitan Day School with Eagle Soar. Right now, Dr. Henderson had me a little tied up.
New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
There's so many ways to listen at Peachtree Radio FM. Go to rsgame.org, download the RS Game web client while playing your game. Press Control B and arrow down to Peachtree Radio FM. Also, dial the telephone number 641-552-5194. Download the Peachtree Radio FM app from the App Store and Google Play Store. Listen at Peachtree Radio FM on TuneIn Radio, iBlink Radio, and the new website, PeachtreeRadioFM.net. There's so many ways to listen at Peachtree Radio FM. Well, some listen to remember and some listen to forget.
Go ahead, man. Here, have $1. In fact, no, brother man, here, have $2. $2 means a snack for me, but it means a big deal to you. Be strong, serve God only. Know that if you do, beautiful heaven awaits. Esther pulled my rope for the first time. I saw a man with no clothes, no money, no plate, Mr. Wyndham. That's his name. No one ever knew his name, cause he's a no one. Never thought twice about spending on an old bum until I had the chance to really get to know one. Now that I know him, to give him money isn't charity. He gives me some knowledge, I buy him some shoes. And to think blacks spend all their money on big colleges, still most of y'all come out confused. Go ahead, Mr. Wyndham. Go ahead, Mr. Wyndham. Mr. Wendell has freedom, a free that you and I think is dumb. Free to be without the worries of...
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
Yes or no? Who are we to judge?
So I want tonight to express gratitude to all the women who have endured years of abuse and assault because they, like my mother, had children to feed and bills to pay and dreams to pursue. They're the women whose names we'll never know. They are domestic workers and farm workers. They are working in factories and they work in restaurants and they're in academia and engineering and medicine and science. They're part of the world of tech and politics and business. There are athletes in the Olympics and there are soldiers in the military. And there's someone else, Reese Taylor. A name I know and I think you should know too. In 1944, Reese Taylor was a young wife and a mother. She was just walking home from a church service she'd attended in Abbeville, Alabama, when she was abducted by 6 armed white men, raped and left blindfolded by the side of the road, coming home from church. They threatened to kill her if she ever told anyone. But her story was reported to the NAACP, where a young worker by the name of Rosa Parks became the lead investigator on her case. And together, they sought justice. But justice wasn't an option in the era of Jim Crow. The men who tried to destroy her were never persecuted. Reese Taylor died 10 days ago, just shy of her 98th birthday. She lived, as we all have lived, too many years in a culture broken by brutally powerful men. For too long, women have not been heard or believed if they dared to speak their truth to the power of those men. But their time is up. Their time is up. Their time is up. And I just hope that Reese Taylor died knowing that her truth, like the truth of so many other women who were tormented in those years, and even now tormented, goes marching on. It was somewhere in Rosa Parks' heart almost 11 years later when she made the decision to stay seated on that bus in Montgomery. And it's here with every woman who chooses to say, "Me too." And every man who chooses to listen. In my career, what I've always tried my best to do, whether on television or through film, is to say something about how men and women really behave, to say how we experience shame, how we love and how we rage, how we fail, how we retreat, persevere, and how we overcome. And I've interviewed and portrayed people who've withstood some of the ugliest things life can throw at you, but the one quality all of them seem to share is an ability to maintain hope for a brighter morning, even during our darkest nights. So I want all the girls watching here and now to know that a new day is on the horizon. And when that new day finally dawns, it will be because of a lot of magnificent women, many of whom are right here in this room tonight, and some pretty phenomenal men fighting hard to make sure that they become the leaders who take us to the time when nobody ever has to say, "Me too," again. Thank you.
That was Oprah Winfrey.
That was powerful.
Yes, I thought it was a very good speech. Jerome?
I thought it was a very good speech as well. You know, she did an excellent job. She took you from the personal to the American experience from a female point of view, and she was very inclusive.
Very much so.
She wasn't inclusive in terms of men.
Yes, she was.
No, she missed the point. I missed the point.
Very phenomenal men.
When she said women won't have to say "me too," she should have said men won't have to say "me too." And I agree with you saying. You and I were talking off the air, and I see your point. You're absolutely right, because it does happen to men too. We were talking about during the break how you have some teachers. Nowadays, you get a lot of stories where teachers are taking advantage of
male teachers.
Yeah, well, female
male
teachers.
And female.
Yeah, female teachers that are dating or whatever they want to call it with male students, teenage students. And I have a problem with that. That's a real big issue.
Yeah. But it goes the other way, where they are sleeping up with their higher-ups. Administrations, if they've got
so the
male
issue of
principals.
It's not gender, then it must be
power.
authority. It's power.
It's power. That's
right.
And power corrupts.
That's right. No, there's no question about it.
Yes, so it goes both ways.
Yeah.
And like she said, I think we were talking during the break, men should be able to come out as well and say that they were harassed by a female, like you said, because of the power or the authority of, the person, the female.
I would like to know if, as close as she was to Harvey Weinstein, if she heard any rumors about his mistreatment of those so-called 60 women. Because from my understanding, it was known throughout the industry of who he was and what he did. And for her to be that close and have her ear to the entertainment world and not know, then is she complicit for being silent?
You are such a purist. Sure she knew. Everybody knew.
A lot of people knew. Yeah,
they're talking about,
like you said, power.
They talk about the MGM couch. Everybody knows about the couch.
So how can she give that kind of speech? How can she give that kind of speech?
She can't. Well, she's been sexually abused.
Oh, and I know she has.
Right.
I know she has.
Right. If she can, doesn't mean she had to be the first one.
But that speech was politically motivated.
Well, I think she can give that speech just because here's the thing about it. As far as Harvey Weinstein was concerned, no one was talking about it in public until Ashley Judd said, "Oh, hold on for a second. I'm going to write this down." And when Ashley Judd said, "Here's my book, and this is who I'm going to name," then other women said, "Okay, well, wait a minute. Hold on for a second. I got a story as well." And so I think
there were other women who had made complaints that no one picked up on. So it wasn't until Ashley Judd put it in the book. But there was numerous other women who had filed complaints, who had put it out there, but no one heard.
But it's just like with any other thing. If you understand what I'm hearing about those women, that other women that made complaints, if you will, a lot of those women had non-disclosure clauses. So if in order for me to continue to work at this company, okay, just like when you go to any company or when a company lets you go, they're saying when releasing you or saying we're going to give you a package to leave, they're saying you can go, you're going to take this package with you, but if you open your mouth, I will see you in
How about
court.
this? What about those politicians who are using taxpayer money to pay off these women and men who were caught in compromising situations?
I want to stick with the
Oprah?
The entertainment industry
Okay.
for a minute. They've got others in the hierarchy. Some female, very few, but they've got others. Weinstein had partners, right?
No doubt.
And they knew, the partners knew.
Well,
those in the hierarchy knew. It was a part of the culture.
It is.
That
It is,
existed
right. It has always been.
unchallenged from the public outside in until Ashley Judge. And so, any stuff like this, you got first put a name on it, and then you got to put sunlight on it.
Well, you know,
Well, I think
otherwise,
because of the big name was put on it,
otherwise,
that's why we've
it
seen
will
Charlie
persist.
Rose
Yeah.
and Matt Lauer and
Yeah.
all these
All of them
folks
falling.
losing their jobs.
Yeah.
Except Tavis.
I think.
Who?
I don't know about all that. But I think had it not been Ashley Judge naming Harvey Weinstein, that the others, they wouldn't be falling like they're
But
falling
then,
now.
here's the thing about it is the people that have committed these issues with these women, if you will, or men, and whatever the case may be. The thing is that when you are a powerful person, okay, and you don't have to be a Harvey Weinstein, you can be a school teacher, you can be the neighbor next door, if you will. And if I tell you, how do I keep control over you? If I tell you one or two things, you tell anybody who's going to believe you. If you tell anybody I'm going to kill your whole family, what are you going to do but shut up?
Right. That's true.
And so what happens is this: it's just.
I'm going to fail you if you're
exactly. Yeah. So I have if I'm a predator mentality, if I have the predator mentality, you can bet that I'm on my game to say make sure that I don't get caught. And what happens if I'm going to make you my victim? I'm going to have if I'm taking control of you sexually, then I'm going to make sure that I'm going to keep control over you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, can I say this? It's interesting how the Democrats have brought this up as an issue, but yet they're the exact same supporters of this industry who creates this kind of culture and climate for this to exist. It seems kind of hypocritical how all these liberal women are bringing it up as the issue now, but then we're not going to address the culture in Hollywood in which Democrats are avidly supporting to have this liberal policy in terms of television.
What he just said.
So,
a lot of these women are not in control, and they are afraid. They're afraid to talk about it.
And they're bringing it up because they are victims.
But it's the culture.
But it's numbers.
The culture.
But the women,
it's the entertainment culture.
Pulling together.
You say a lot of women. I'm saying these women are victims.
And I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I'm speaking about those individuals who are supporting this victim culture in Hollywood.
But I think that culture is going to change.
Yeah. It's melting as we speak.
I think that culture is going to change because now what's happening, you have the powerful women that are standing up to say your time has come.
Yeah.
I'm going to go into a risk. When the Jewish community has taken over Hollywood and they control all the purse strings, until that changes, the culture is not going to change.
You're saying Jewish women are inclined to be perverse?
I'm saying the Jewish culture, these Jewish men who are in charge of Hollywood, they're the ones who are creating this kind of culture in which this behavior can exist.
If that was the case, then Harvey Weinstein would not be.
Well,
where
I mean,
he is
but
right
he
now.
exists. It's like this goes back 30 years.
And all the folks that are beginning
How
to
was
fall.
he allowed to do this and no one say anything?
And congresspersons that are beginning to fall. Things are changing because women are beginning to pull together.
Praise
and
God.
Pull
don't forget
together
about
and
your
not
brothers
be
on the
afraid.
sideline. That's all I'm saying. Don't forget about your brothers on the sideline.
Okay, Dr. Hensley, we will. We will.
I want to come back to this. Anybody see that meeting yesterday that Trump had with the Congress?
Well, before we get to that, let me ask this question. Let me ask this question first. We're gonna talk about the doctor. Let me talk about Oprah for president first. What do you all think, Sherrod? Do you think she could be elected, and would you vote for her?
I think because of who.
Do you think she can win? Let me ask that question.
I think because of who she is, she could win.
Okay, would you vote for her?
I can't say that I would.
Okay.
Why? again, there are certain things that I would say on air and then off air.
Okay.
You know,
We'll
because
cut your mic off. Then you turn my ear.
I mean, I see things from a completely different perspective. So,
Okay.
you know, people are motivated by other things than what I am. You know,
Right.
My viewpoint is different.
We got you. Go to Jerome before I forget over here.
I think she can win. I would vote for it just because I said, you know, it's a double tick mark for me, a black woman as president of the United States. What makes me sort of chuckle is the fact that people keep saying, oh, no, we don't want another celebrity. Well, you made it okay for billionaire to run for office. You made it okay for someone who has an entertainment background to run for office. And so now that it's a different ilk of a person, you know, with the same credentials, you don't want to see this person run for office. You say, and you say, hey, well, and here's the thing about it. You say, I don't want another politician to help fix America. We voted for Donald Trump because he was not a politician. Well, Oprah Winfrey's not a politician either.
And I don't think we should run and vote for her because she's a black woman. We made that mistake with Barack Obama. I think we need to have someone who we're going to hold accountable.
There you go. There you go.
I'm just saying. I
See,
mean,
I
so
don't
if
think-
Oprah ran,
I don't think we made a mistake with Barack Obama.
Like I would bet anybody else,
clutches of
but
them
I'm not going to go
Republican
run and
man.
vote for her because she looked like me and she looked like my mama.
Okay, all right.
But
so
Queen Oprah
so
definitely can win.
But let me tell you,
she can win. Would you vote for?
If she came with the right platform,
Okay.
I would definitely vote for
So
her.
you're going to hold her accountable.
I'm gonna hold her accountable.
Here's the thing about
That's responsible. That's responsible.
Here's the thing about it. The reason why I'm saying that the level that I would go is because I like the image of that being there, but that's not my fighting ground. My fighting ground is local. I can make more of an impact locally than I can on a national level. If I just tick mark and put Oprah in office, she's not going to say, oh, wow, Jerome helped me get in office. I need you in my cabinet, okay? But if I get the mayor in office or city council person in office, I can go and knock on that door.
Right.
I can spend more time locally.
Right, I agree.
Okay, and so the thing is that I'm not that national player. They're not going to pick up the phone and answer the phone when I call, but my city council person is. So to me, it's nice to have that imagery that I can always go back and point to and say, okay, or get angry about and say, okay, you know, you guys are pissing me off or you guys are making me happy when you're talking about the person that I selected for president, all right? But if you're on the local level with me and you're saying, okay, you know, the city's not working and this, that, is not working, then we got a problem, okay? That's where my playing field
I
is.
think our power resides in local politics.
Let me offer my
Okay, wait a minute. Victor says Oprah is an opportunist. Go ahead, Marty.
Well, he got a chance to vet her between now and 2020. And all of us do. And I would caution us to get too far ahead
Will
about,
Smith's
wait
gonna
a
be running. The Rock
minute.
Johnson's going to be running as well, supposedly.
Wait a minute.
Kanye West may be running.
Well, I tell you, y'all hold that thought. I'm coming back to you, Marty. We're going to take a break. I'll come back to you after the break. We'll be right back.
This right here, Tell Me One, goes out to everyone that has lost someone that they truly love. Check it out. Seems like yesterday we used to rock the show. I laced the track, you locked the flow. So far from hanging on the block for dough. Notorious, they got to know that life ain't always what it seemed to be. Words can't express what you mean to me. Even though you're gone, we still a team. Through your family, I'll fulfill your dreams. In the future, can't wait to see if you open up the gates for me. Reminisce sometime, the night they took my friend. Try to black it out, but it plays again. When it's real, feeling's hard to conceal. Can't imagine all the pain I feel. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you're still living your life after death.
Every move I make, every single day, every time I pray, I'll be missing you. Thinking of the day when you went away. What a life to take, what a bond to break, I'll be missing you.
It's kinda hard with you not around. Know you in heaven smiling down, watching us while we pray for you. Every day we pray for you, till the day we meet again. In my heart is where I keep you, friend. Memories give me the strength I need to proceed, strength I need to believe. My thoughts big, I just can't define. Wish I could turn back the hands of time. Us in the six, shop for new clothes and kicks. You and me taking flicks, making hits, stages they receive you on. Still can't believe you're gone. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you still living your life after death.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is sponsored in part by
Metropolitan Day School where eagles soar.
Let's face it, being a parent is not always easy, but being a kid today is not so easy either. Our kids need so much. They need the emotional, academic, and social skills to succeed, and they need you. But between work, errands, dinner, and homework, there's not much time left for you, is there? Well, we want to help. Raise the Standard is a nonprofit company in Virginia that focuses on helping parents and children in a positive way. Utilizing an online assessment, we identify what your child's natural talents and strengths are. And focusing on those gifts makes a child more productive, therefore more successful, and ultimately happier kid. Then you get to spend time with that child. Let's raise the standard in Virginia for our kids. Let's raise the standard for what they expect and what they receive. Contact us today, raisethestandardva.org. That's raisethestandardva.org. 804-426-4228. 804-426-4228.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is sponsored in part by
Marion Marketing Global. You know those guys over at Marion Marketing Global? They can do everything from billboards to bus signs. Marion Marketing Global, changing the world and expanding your brand every day, each day. Marion Marketing Global, 804-938-5218. Check us out on the web at marionmarketingglobal.com.
Training, I fell in love with a smile so nice. Holy moly, you know your loving is getting mighty cold. Yeah, I might as well get my hat and a winter coat and go to bed on a block of ice. Cause it ain't cool the way you treat me, so different from the way we were. It ain't cool to catch my drift, girl. I gotta spend the night trying to get it right. Why do we have to fight? What's wrong? Why you getting fired on me? Tell me why you looking on me. Tell me why you looking on me. Tell me what's the deal that happened to the love you feel? Something went down, and now you're treating me so unreal, crazy girl.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
Okay, let me read. Andre said Oprah cannot relate. Marty, we're back on the air. Can she tell me how much a dozen of eggs cost? She is Wall Street. First time listener. Elizabeth loves the show. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you,
we
Andrea.
appreciate it.
Say it again, Andrea. How much does a dozen eggs cost, by the way?
I think she could tell us. I
don't know myself. I don't eat eggs.
I think Andrea could tell us, but 45 couldn't tell us.
You mean Oprah?
Oprah could tell us, yes. Yeah. But
Oprah have her assistant go out and tell us.
Oprah could tell us.
Oprah can't
but
tell
45 couldn't. I bet she could. No, think about it.
Oprah probably eat,
She like eggs.
No,
I don't think she like eggs. She probably like bacon though.
See, you know you're not right.
That's cold.
Marty, you had a comment you were making before we went to the break.
I can't remember. What I had for breakfast this morning.
Let me say this, Dr. Henderson. We were talking about Oprah during the break, and you were bringing out some points that I want you to say that another side of Oprah that you are.
I just said
read about or know about.
You don't get to be that powerful as a business person, male or female, unless you stepped on some toes. And for us to presume that Oprah is squeaky clean, I think is a big mistake.
We don't think that.
But I think she's a
Nobody's
savvy
squeaky clean.
businesswoman. I think she is a genius. And I began referring to her as Queen Oprah. I mean, no disrespect to Aretha Franklin. I don't want her coming after me because she's the only queen. But I do believe she's savvy, she's intelligent, she's a genius, and she is an opportunist. But that's her right. And if she came to the platform with the right platform and the right paper, I would support her.
And I suggest that we all pay attention to what can go wrong when you pull your leadership out of pop culture. And that we need to take plenty of time to evaluate our surroundings and how things develop moving towards 2020. This is way too early in my estimation.
Yeah, the midterm is going to tell a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
A lot of pieces of shade that we're not considering with the backgrounds of some of these people. And their mindsets and where they draw their greatest strength and through experience. So we got a lot to evaluate, and more this time around after Trump than any other time. Folks made a huge mistake, and there's buyer's remorse all over the place, and will be as we go forward. So stay tuned. We didn't make that mess. Yeah. White folks made that mess. That aside, we didn't get our people out for the for Clinton either.
Well, I think that will definitely change for the midterm elections. We saw how we came out.
Do you think so?
Yeah, we saw how we came out for the senator race in Alabama. For Doug Moore.
You mean the black women came out?
Yeah,
and they rally around. Yeah, and they supported. Yeah,
but I'm thinking this whole administration that we've seen for the last almost year has gotten everybody's attention.
Yeah.
And I think we will not make that mistake again sitting at home.
And I think that had to happen. I'm glad that he got voted as president. I think certain things have to happen in order to wake us up. And I think we're in the position that we're in right now. If we were supposed to be somewhere else, we would be. So I'm thankful that those things happen. And I pray that whatever happens, it continues to happen, it continues to go the right way.
But we have to really be careful also, too, because presidential elections last 2 years, okay? They start early in the process.
Right, they've already started.
Yeah.
They've already
started.
And
so with that process, what happens with that long, drawn-out process, we become bored and we become indifferent and we become apathetic and complacent. And so what happens is we stop participating because we're like, or we don't participate at the level that we could participate because we are so worn out with our day-to-day, going home, taking care of our kids, making our trying to get a raise at work, if you will, trying to make our bills. And I'm not saying everybody goes through that. I'm not saying everybody goes through that. But the thing is that we don't want to allow ourselves to become, I'm so tired of this election. Is it over yet? I'm so tired. And here's what really catches us is the negative publicity. When they start going negative with each other, then we start participating. We're like, I've already made my decision. I don't need to read anything. I already made my decision.
Social media. Social media keeps things in the forefront.
Right.
Exactly.
And so social media keeps things, being pushed. Even when you don't want to watch it, it's always coming up on your feed, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever else.
And that's getting ready to change with the repeal of net neutrality. That a lot of things are by design. I think you said that before, Jerome, that a lot of things are in place in order to keep us from being knowledgeable about what's going on, period, on a larger scale. Because all the rhetoric that's going on in Washington, we got to look beneath the surface as to what is really going on and how it affects us.
And it'd be great if these rappers got on board as well. And these rappers changed up some of their messages because these young people are listening to the music.
I think right now everybody's willing to get in the game if we can find the game. Here's what I'm gonna offer to you. I'm a sociologist background.
Yeah, we are on the air, Marty.
I'm keeping it clean.
You're gonna offer to him, but what about the rest of us?
I'll take it.
Since he says
he's got offer, I'm like, wait a minute.
Since he says he's got programmatic stuff going on in his church, I'm going to offer this to you, that I would love to come over and join with you, but I'm going to need help. We'll find a way for you to get paid.
Amen. There we go.
The point, though, is that sociologists define modern society into 10 institutions, divided into 10 institutions, the most fundamental of which is the institution of family and marriage. And the second most fundamental is the institution of neighborhood. When those two get destabilized, it shakes all the other 8. And so you look at what's happening, the institution of education is a mess. The institution of government, a mess. the institution of religion, the institution of law, the institution of military, the institution of commerce and money, the institution of labor and work. They're all a mess. And so I'm coming to you in hopes that you can help me organize neighborhoods.
Yes, sir.
Bring people back into relationship with each other around lifting up the best life chances for children. We do that, and we can replicate a model neighborhood and replicate that model all over town. Virginia Union said they want to partner with us. VCU has just opened a community engagement operation over there.
I'm a former labor organizer, so yeah.
People who want to help. I saw what you did down on Black. The board was rolling. You disappeared on me. I don't know what the heck you went.
Well,
Put that aside. That's how we begin to impact and change this stuff.
That's here on
Not
the local
talking
level.
about
On a national level, what are we on a national? Okay.
Until we repair the civic fabric. That government is broke at all levels, local, state, and federal, and can't get fixed
at the lower level.
until we get it straight.
I think one suggestion we could do is like when we come on this show, we end off with a solution we're all going to begin to implement together because we all of us have like minds.
That's right.
And I think that's just one start. You know, we do a great job of sitting on the panel, but what if we had an extension of your show?
Right.
Some things we were actually doing.
One of the things we're going to do, Tanya Free and Friends, is a voter registration drive.
Right.
We got to do that, and that to me is an effect on a national.
Jerome and I are going on to a meeting this evening at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Where you've got 11 civic leagues joining together, most of them white, and they're focused primarily on issues concerning black folks.
And you are very good with working with various campaigns. You got to have that type of experience.
At Lalo's Cantina.
Lalo's.
Where is it?
Across from the Science Museum, Lalo's Cantina.
Say it again so people that want to come can attend.
No, it's not open.
It's not open. Oh, okay.
It's not
Already
open yet.
Yes.
Well, if I'm working with you two, I think I'll be okay.
Oh, you can come.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Three of us in the same room, it may be a problem.
Yeah. I just don't want to be responsible for inviting the world.
I don't think there probably won't be an issue, but no, a voter registration drive is one of the things that we're going to be doing, as well as talking about as to who's on the ballot. You know, we already know the election is November the 6th. Like I said, one of the things that bothers me is that people show up, don't know who they're voting for, and blindly vote for people. And like what you were saying, Dr. Henderson, we need to hold people accountable.
And that's important, but I think also the education piece. People don't understand the voting process still.
That's true.
You don't understand how that works, how the Electoral College works. They don't understand any of those things, the legislative process period. So I think within that, what you know you're talking about, there also needs to be that educational component.
We can do the educational part here on the air as well.
I'd like to put a shameless plug.
Go ahead, you've been doing it the whole time.
There you go. Shameless plug. The Richmond Crusade's mission for voters is voter registration, voter education, and get out the vote.
Okay. Well, then you and I need to talk
so we meet every third Tuesday at 7 o'clock at the Military Retirees Club, which is next Tuesday, and we invite the world to come join us because it's going to take an army to get this message.
Oh, yeah, no question
we gotta
about
fix
that.
it.
And then on top of that, our young people.
Yeah.
How do we get our young people involved? I think somebody said, yeah, it's fine, for the old heads, but we need some young people involved.
But the young people are involved. They're just not inviting us to participate. Think about it. The young people are involved. I mean, if you think about it, who is it? The young professionals? That's the new Urban League. They meet once a month. They have all of these keynote speakers and all these wonderful things going on. When it's time for
have some of them on the air
when it's time for political processes that they're bringing in the candidates, if you will. The Metro Richmond area Democrats. They're getting together. I mean, they had a forum for everybody that was running for office in the city throughout the campaign period.
Right.
So the interesting thing about it, and I kind of like laughed and I said, "Oh, can I be a young professional considering I'm really old?" I joked, but do you know they put me on their mailing list?
That was wonderful.
You know, and so I'm saying is that the young folks are involved. It's just that they're not inviting us, and I'll tell you why they're not inviting us. When they go to our established meetings, if you will, The first thing you'll have somebody stand up and say, oh, well, you know, I've been a member for 18,000 years and this is the way it's been done. And they're looking at you like,
I know. I hate it when somebody says
that. Say that again?
That was done to me when I got here.
Yeah, and they get up and leave. They get up and leave, and you don't see them any longer.
And Henry Marks accused me of wanting to burn down the entire building.
Yeah.
And leave his office.
And the wild thing about it, they get up and leave. And I'll tell you what was so interesting, because somebody said that Richmond is a very cliquish town. And I kept saying, oh, wow, you know, this, that, and but then what I realized is that, yeah, it is a cliquish town, but people are creating their cliques every day, all over and over and over again. And they're saying, this is what is important to me, and this is what's important to me. So the people are actually out there playing. It's just that they're not inviting us, especially when you have gray hair, because they know that I'm going to walk in the room and say, oh, yeah, well, let me tell you, when I've been here, and this is where we've always done it. And whenever they hear that,
once you hear that, that's
they're
it.
gone.
That's it.
You will not see them again.
Well,
what I am learning is
that's it. We're out of time. As always, I thank God, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for allowing us the opportunity to speak and hopefully heard. Thanks to our listening friends. Blessings to each and every one of you, and of course, thanks to Sherrod, Jerome, Marty, and Dr. Henderson, Niles, Noah, Marcus, and Mr. Free. I'm Tanya Free. Until next time, be free. Remember to live life with a purpose.
What you got, a man? I don't see you with him. Put your phone down, let's get it. Forget your Instagram and your Twitter. Got me like, whoa, wait a minute. You need to take a minute. Loosen them shoulders up, pull it up, let's work. Throw some perm on your attitude. Girl, you gotta relax. Ooh. Let me show you what you got to do. You gotta lay it back. Matter of fact, bang, show how to lay it back. Show how to lay it back. Show how to lay it back. Ow! Show how to lay it back. Alright! Come on, baby, I love you. No, you don't. You never know I might, though. Can't say I won't. There's that smile I'm looking for. Was that so hard? If you ever need a smile again, girl, take my card. Razzle dazzle, never gonna stop. What you want is what I got. You wanna get down? You gotta get up. Don't be stingy with your big old butt. You got a booty like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm just playing with you. Loosen them shoulders up, pull it up, let's work. Throw some perm on your attitude. Girl, you gotta relax. Ooh. Let me show you what you got to do.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is a presentation of Freedom Marketing Incorporated. All rights reserved. Views and comments expressed are not necessarily the views of the host and or this station.